What's the connection between longevity and exercise? I bet you have an answer to that. And here's my question to you. Are you helping clients optimize their longevity? Do you know it's like a trending topic? And New York Times best-selling titles recently all have something to say about youth, younger, living longer, stronger, and better. We should probably pay attention. You've got more time with clients than doctors with patients and more opportunity to positively impact them. You also have more opportunity than ever to leverage what it is you do for your own business longevity. So, this very short episode with Chris Burres, behind the scenes of a longer full length episode that I'm going to point you to at Flipping 50. He is the host of an upcoming longevity summit that I don't think you're going to want to miss, with some key names that you will not want to miss. And it will offer you some quick insight. This from the scientist himself, the summit from his keen insights and questions for his guests that dive deep into what we can all do to not just live longer, but as of course we all want them to, stronger. My guest, published author, host of the Uncovering the Secrets to Longevity Health Summit, patent holder with a surprising twist. He's not just a visionary scientist, but he's also a master of comedy improv. Chris Burres is the founder and chief scientist at MyVitalC, where he manufactures a Nobel Prize winning molecule responsible for the single longest longevity experimental result in history, which is a full 90% life extension. He is the intersection of where science meets laughter, and his life's mission is to help people live longer, healthier, happier, and pain-free lives, one dose at a time. We're going to dive into this really short episode. In the show notes, I will link you to the episode on Flipping 50 that was just recently released, and to the summit where you should most definitely get in, because when people are talking about longevity, they are talking about exercise. This, my friends, is your future. This is marketing. This is leveraging. And in 2024, longevity, this word, this topic, and the means to get there should probably show up in your marketing and in your providing your services. Let's go. Chris, thanks so much for double dipping with me today. I didn't warn you that I was going to do this, but thanks for coming over here.
Deborah, I love it. It's always fun. Like, you take that chip and you want to double dip it, and if no one's watching, what do you do?
Right. All right. So we're talking to health and fitness professionals, and primarily they are actually starting to be concerned and conscious about their own longevity, most of all their health span, but they're also meta. They are working with other women who are also very much into how do I do this? How do I do this well? So health and fitness professionals spend more time, most likely, with their clients than, say, a doctor spends with patients. How can they be a positive, ignition and spark for longevity and ways that they can help people?
Well, so I think one, you're a professional and you're doing the right things already. So providing that guidance, I think, we talked in the podcast that we just recorded about a lot of good reading material that people could reference to have a good understanding of their longevity, of their health, or all of those good things. So I think do what you continue to do what you do, and provide the guidance. Maybe send them to like a longevity summit.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Okay. You just came up with a really great idea. So number one, this is meta. This is how you as a trainer get someone to get the information you want so that it makes your job easier. Number one, they're more compliant. They're doing more of the right things, but you also can lead a discussion group on this. So you now have more engagement with your community.
Well,
That's
and
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I would add to that, anytime that you point people, and in fact, I was listening to a book, I think it's called Contagious, talking about why do people recommend movies? Like, when was the last time you recommended a bad movie? And usually the answer is never. And the reason is because you get social credibility by sending people to powerful stuff. Right. So uncovering the secrets of longevity, live beyond the norms, when they go and have this amazing experience, that they're going to come back and say, wow, thank you for sending me to that. Your credibility actually increases.
So good. That was so good. Yeah. And you're a connector. I think that is a big difference between just somebody who's a provider, meets their client regularly. When you start connecting people, like, here's a resource, you want this, you want that, you're somebody different. Okay, Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot. So, given what you know and your science geek background, but also I'm just guessing from your voice, your enthusiasm through the voice, through the microphone, that you know a thing or two about exercise, staying active. What do you see, or what do you think are the biggest mistakes that people make in harming their longevity through exercise?
Well, okay. So the first and kind of obvious mistake is not doing any exercise, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing. I can speak to, I in the middle of the pandemic, I changed my exercise regime very specifically, and I ended up increasing my exercise. And the way I did this, and I think this applies to people who aren't doing anything yet, right? And it is that I always had a goal, playing semi-professional soccer. I never went for a jog unless it was 3 miles. There were just like, that's what I did. I went jogging 3 miles. And then as I got older and didn't jog as much, it wasn't fully running. Like, if I had taken some sort of 1 month break, the 3 miles didn't get completed. There was some walking involved. But what turned out to be true is I didn't jog as much until the middle of the pandemic. My wife was going for a 2 mile jog every day. That's like 20, 22 minutes, depending on your pace. And some people are much faster than that. But my wife and my pace about 22 minutes. And I'm like, well, I can do 22 minutes every day. Like, I can carve that out of my schedule. And it's certainly better to run 2 miles. Frankly, now it's every day instead of, running 3 miles every third day or something, because, I'm not running breakneck pace. So I think figuring out, maybe it's paring back some of your exercise so that you can commit to doing more exercise more regularly, right? Because one 40-minute block of exercise is not as valuable as two 20-minute blocks of exercise. That's what I would share.
So good. I know you've read a lot of books. We did talk about those resources, and I want to send everybody back, by the way, to the Flipping 50 show. So we just released that. I will put the link for you in your show notes here. But if you could suggest, of the books that you've read, is there one in particular that, if you know now, you're talking to health and fitness pros, maybe a few functional docs even in the audience? Would that change your book recommendation if they could only read one?
Yeah. So if you're in this space, I would actually recommend Ben Greenfield's Boundless. And the reason is, I think I'm only 3 chapters into the book, and I've had it on my shelf for quite a while. It is so materially dense. There's just so much material in it. So you can pick and choose. I'm a cover to cover, and probably it would have served me better to like pick out the chapters that I wanted and were relevant to. And by the way, Ben Greenfield is one of the individuals one of the experts that I interviewed on the Health Summit that we talk about in the podcast. His information is just so dense. I think that's the best. I think a very close second would be Dave Asprey's book, and he's got a new one out which has some pretty kind of revolutionary concepts. He's been talking about them for a while, but they're in the book, Smarter, Not Harder. And he's talking about, a couple of the interviews I saw him on. I also interviewed him for the summit. In preparation, I'm watching all sorts of interviews. He's like 9% body fat and works out 15 minutes a week. That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
right?
He has really changed. And there's a lot of trainers here who are like, I don't know that I want to tell my clients that.
Well, and it's interesting because I'm the flip side as the potential customer in that discussion. I'm like, but I like training. Like I did a
Yeah.
30-minute dumbbell workout this morning. I like that. I like if it were just 10 minutes, I don't, what am I going to spend the other 20 minutes on Instagram? That's not good.
Yeah, and there is. So, by the way, you're an anomaly. Like maybe 3% of people say this out loud. We are surrounded by them. So we all tend to think that everybody thinks this way, but they don't. They just don't.
Yeah. If I could do, I can imagine that the general consumer, especially the people that you're often trying to motivate, is more like, okay, well, how do I do this in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And I think at this point, there's nothing to worry about because those facilities, they involve, kind of AI equipment. And you could talk about it, and maybe you could use that to motivate them to work harder, because those pieces of equipment and what Dave talks about are entirely about like extreme maximum loads and workout in a safe way, right? Because you don't like some very appropriation. There's something where your body's aware of the wiggle movements of weights, and therefore won't let you pick up dumbbells that you can't manage, right? But that doesn't mean you can't push them as hard. You could actually push maybe 3x of them, but you can't manage the momentum that might occur as they wiggle, right? Hopefully I explained that well.
Yeah. Really well.
Right?
But I was so distracted because I was thinking, people do want to ask, how do I do that in 5 minutes? But they want without any exertion.
Yeah. Also without any exertion.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, nice. Okay. I think I just gave you your next stand-up comedy stint. And so I want a little credit for that. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, and to be honest, like I would like, 6-pack, 9% body fat, without doing any effort, but then I would probably still work out like that. That would be nice. But, that's not
because then you want to stand in front of the mirror.
Exactly. In the mirror, I thought we were working out on Venice Beach. Like that's where I would be taking my workouts.
What was I thinking? Yeah. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to, first of all, direct you. I have monopolized Chris's time today, and I'm going to direct you over to the Flipping 50 podcast, where we actually talked. And the title of that podcast, I'll put it in the show notes, but it's the real secrets to longevity. And we also talked about the summit. We'll put that in these show notes too. That'll be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/longevity and exercise. And what are you waiting for? The world needs you right now more than ever.